In this video, I'm going to share with you guys a story about the time I asked Jesus to help me be more compassionate towards humanity and what happened. Before I dive into things, I just want to say I've been making social media content for 7 years, and even in my newest biography that I just released on April 8th, called Finding Me by Ashley Samborski, now available on Amazon, link in the bio, take you right there. I did not include this story because it is such a sensitive topic, and I just want to say my intention is not to offend anybody, but here it is. To make any sense, I gotta fill you guys in on a couple things. So back in 2019, after my 22-year-long relationship came to a sudden end after girls' night out, right in between as we're selling our house and trying to figure out where the fuck we're gonna live, I'm just sitting in my garage in a chair. I'm just like looking at humanity. I'm like, Jesus, why the fuck am I here? Why are light workers here? Why didn't you guys just send a second, third, fourth, fifth flood in? Like, humanity's fucked. Like, help me be more compassionate towards humanity, please. Jesus deliver, yeah, you betcha, in about 7 days, and it was in a way that I never expected. So in order for this to make any sense, I gotta fill you guys in on a couple things. So growing up in my 20s, I'm like 44 now, and throughout my 20s, I was pretty much an alcoholic with a Jetwick temper. Growing up, I grew up in a very verbally abusive, emotionally unstable environment, and I'd go to school and get fucking picked on and punched in the face. And then, high school was the same thing. And as soon as I turned 19 and I realized you could drown out this shithole reality that I never really liked with alcohol, it was like, fucking how do you do? And started drinking with a zero off switch mentality, right? And back in those days, I had a very bad temper. And if anybody went out of their way to, disrupt my peace, whatever little that I had, it would take me days to get over, and usually I wouldn't find peace unless I got up into that person's face and came up with a resolution, right? And back in those days, I didn't have a lot of compassion. My mentality was that the biggest dirtbags on planet Earth were pedophiles, and they should basically just all be lined up and fucking hosed down, let's just say, right? One time, just after graduating, I was talking with my buddy on the phone who lived a couple blocks away, and he had an older brother who had a buddy over, and I could hear in the background him asking my buddy, like, oh, who you talking to? Like, let's go do so-and-so, let's go do this, right? And he's like, oh, it's Ash. And he's like, oh, why are you talking to that guy? He's a fucking pedophile, right? And so when I had this, Jetwick temper problem, and somebody called me the one thing on the planet that I really disliked the most on, I had a big problem. And you could say that, I went over there and things got, up close and personal, you could say. And when I left, my buddy called me and he's like, bro, he's like, it looks like a fucking murder scene here. There's blood on the fucking ceiling. There's blood on my cabinets in the kitchen. There's blood all over the floor. There's blood on the fucking hardwood. There's blood on the carpet. Like, what the fuck kind of thing, right? 2013, when I lost my mom to cancer, I went through this sudden spiritual awakening, and I evaluated everything in my life, right? And when it came to that one experience, that was one thing that I really felt bad about. I was like, you know what, that guy didn't deserve what I handed out to him, despite what he said to me. And I spent about 6 years just connecting with this guy in the astral realm. I was like, you know what, bro, I'm fucking sorry. I'm like, you didn't deserve that. There was some excess anger taken out on you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Nothing in the physical. It was just, I'd spent fucking 6 years, maybe once a week or every other day, just kind of saying, bro, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Like, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that kind of thing, right? And so towards the end of 2019, when I'm sitting in my garage and I'm just like, fuck, what is up with humanity? Like, why are light workers here? This is a fucking joke. I was just like, you know what, Jesus, if I'm going to open up my heart and be happy, I need you to help me be more compassionate towards humanity. And did he deliver? About a week later, after not talking to my old buddy back in my high school days in 98, 99, 2000, I hadn't talked to him for probably a decade. And I get a phone call out of the blue, right? And we're chit-chatting, and we used to be best boys. So we're talking, and he's like, oh, hey, he's like, by the way, he's like, you remember that guy you fucked up at my house? And I was like, my heart kind of sunk. I was like, yeah, He's like, well, it's a good thing you did that. And I'm like, why? I'm like, he's locked up in jail right now because it turns out he's a pedophile for molesting a little girl. Now, this is, and I just want to remind you guys, this is the reason why I've never shared this story. But, you know, despite hearing that, since I spent the last 6 years apologizing to this guy in the astral realm, telling Jesus, my angels, I'm like, look guys, I feel bad about this, I'm fucking sorry, like, please forgive me kind of shit. I spent so much time, despite seeing pedophiles as a bunch of people that should be lined up and hosed down, I couldn't get myself to, you know, be happy for the actions I did after spending 6 years asking for forgiveness. So if you're ever going to ask Jesus for compassion, you better be careful, because you never know what he might deliver. That's all I got. Hit that like and subscribe. Think about sharing this video, and we'll see you in the next one.